I know.
Dr. Ankobia, Dr. Osenyako, Dr. Eni, Dr. Gasenu, Eni, Dr. Boa, Omo Modiani, Dr. Kwajobuache, Omo Modian, Omo Mekamihoha. Said your one winning mono, said your Midi Kanka, Dr. Usuba, and the Bay, and yes, Okoton Rook, and yes, Okoya Bonibi, Namum, Akosi. Opia one thing, Okoya wa mebio. Na sabi said ye Dr. Usuba ati hono. Enya dia ye betimi ahwe no na asemo ase abai wono nko sabi oye bema yesi bema wo etuo paya esi bema bo na mom no se ni pata wachi a na no so eye enti no yaba na ye wa ha nyina no anka ye ne ye anka si atwen na mo amobae no wo bebo mo so ani ade nyina wie enso ye wo hwa nyina no enkofo ha bi pa hye wo ho a ye frefre wo mo ebinim a wo so wo mo kɔ ekira ebinim be ye adwuma ene ne maniama pii enti ye besra mo ara enye se ye bu manimtia na emomo no ye bebe se ye beye na ye be bibi kakra ma Dr. Uzuba ene ne yire Dr. Sia hey yeah kasa executive members omo ha ye funeral committee ye 2 year no Dr. Gasenu wono gina me bankum so wono ne chairman Dr. Ani Diamuni no woni Dr. Uzuba na ye adwuma Dr. Senya Akon woni ye treasurer Dr.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Atta Boama, as I alluded to, this is the article that most of us saw, that you were trying to jump to your death because you were distraught over losing your job. Could you tell us a little bit about what actually happened that day? How did you get up there?
It's very simple, yeah. I think the whole situation happened in 1994 on a job whereby, as the reporter put it in the newspaper, 94, whereby we think everything has been squashed. Now we have recently, February of 95, we have a new superintendent there. For some reason, this man doesn't get eye to eye with me. It looked like...
we must say that you work for the city.
I work for the city.
The Department of...
For Housing Authority.
Okay.
Okay. for some reason, this man doesn't get along with me for no reason. I guess
How
it's
long have you worked there?
7 years.
You worked there for 7 years.
Of
Okay.
course.
This man that you are talking about, who is he?
His name is Sean Johnston. He is the superintendent of the project.
Okay.
And
And he's your boss?
He's my boss.
Okay.
When this thing happened, he was not there. But because of the fact that for some reason he doesn't like me, he and the co-worker who I have altercation with came into an agreement because the co-worker had a Parkinson's disease. So therefore he cannot perform the job. In order for him to lose his job without getting disability, they make a deal. You give me this, I'll let you get the disability.
Okay. All right. So in terms of having the altercation with the co-worker, you accept that that situation did occur?
Okay, you're right.
Okay. What prompted that altercation?
On July last 94, we were having a barbecue as employees. We chip in $5. Everybody who want to participate, I did give $5 up as my contribution. When the food or when the time, lunchtime for us to go and have, you know, the cookout, this guy named Byers, William Byers, closed the gate where we were having the barbecue. Said, "Oh, we don't want Africans here." Everybody was laughing.
Could he have been joking about that? Was he serious?
He was serious. It's not the first time he make a comment about Africa. When Shaka Zulu came on the movie, when he see Africans on the news like Somalia, and he constantly, you know, use it as a front and accuse me, and I'm somebody.
That sounds like a very ignorant person. Did you try educating that person?
Very, very. I did. As a matter of fact, on June, before this thing happened, on June 94, I reported him to our superintendent, who his name was James Baker, to talk to him because he make that allegations against me all the time.
Did you personally, you know, man to man, try to sit him down and say, listen, Somalia is part of Africa, but Africa is a big place, and I come from West Africa, and we're not that hungry. Not that we're saying there's anything wrong with the other people, but Africa is a big place, and there are hungry people in the United States, just like there are hungry people everywhere. Did you try to come to some agreement with this person?
I did a couple of times when I did talk to him, and I said, look, even if you go to San Domingo or Puerto Rico, there are people, even United States, people are living in the shelter and they're eating in the garbage and stuff. So please, when you see anything, just ask me, is it true or what happened? You know, anything can happen, right? And I will give you more details why the news media, or you know, in aspect of journalism, they always project where people can see the bad side of the country.
Right, negativism sells, and we all know because. But anyway, before we get off the subject, what prompted you that very day to get on the cables?
Well, when
on the bridge.
It's connected to the same case happened in 94. When this man, Sean Johnson, sent me to general hearing, not even local.
That's like an arbitration,
right?
To judge the case. Okay.
Okay. The hearing officer found me 44 days suspension, whereby the union have a rule you cannot suspend any city employee more than 30 days. So they were going to fight for that. So this letter was sent to the chairman of the housing authority, Mr. Ruben Franco, excuse me. He overruled the 44-day suspension and gave me outright dismissal.
Just like that? Just like that.
So the union lawyer said, look, we have another way to fight this case. So believe me, we will fight to what do you call the Civil Service Commission. So they will really, that was my last hope. Because from the point of view, when I was fired in March, this Sean Johnson, my superintendent, he suspended me. I was suspended before I got dismissal. What was the suspension? nobody knows. Up to date, I can give you the record. Say you've been suspended immediately effect. Why? No answer. Because he is a white guy. Because he have somebody in what do you call housing authority. His car license plate say New York City Housing Authority. In my point of view, it looked like he knows somebody at the top. So whatever he say, they take it.
So, okay, it's not all white people are racist, but this particular person, you think had it in for you,
right?
As a black person,
of course.
Were you the only black person in staff over there?
I was not the only black person over there, but I was the only African. Born in that department.
Okay.
Because he cannot deal with those African Americans who were born here. But me in particular, at the same time, I was the union shop steward. He doesn't like me. He's a redneck. I have to quote unquote on that. Because of
his Sean Johnston.
Because of his behavior towards me. It makes me feel like that. Like you said, not all white folks are racist, but this particular person, you can tell when somebody is a racist. You know?
Okay. So again, that very day that you took this trip to the Brooklyn Bridge, we will say, was the very day that you received the final saying on your case as to determination stands and this is it, there's nothing else to be done about it. That was the very day.
Yes, of course.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking you that question is because in the Ascenta newspaper, they alluded to the fact that you said you did this to bring awareness to the situation and see that if you can get some people to shed some light on it and see what the city has done. Was that what happened, or maybe you just felt temporarily upset and you decided to take that trip? It was, I mean, you tell me.
Yeah, let me tell you something about the day. That was August 19 when this incident happened. When I opened my mailbox and I got that letter, really, my whole entire life, nothing really hurt me but that day. I was not expect that decision from the Civil Service Commission because that was the last chance when you have your case hearing up and down by the city. So when I received that letter, really,
you were upset.
I was really, really upset because this particular person, Sean Johnson, shot my entire life and my family for going through that process. So when that letter came, I said, you mean the Civil Service Commission is based on what they said is a funnel? So really, it was not that I'm crazy, it's just the emotional stress took me down there. It's not just I want people to hear my case or something like that. That's not the idea, because if it was an idea, you have another way for people to hear your case. For example, I did send a letter to the mayor. He did not respond to my letter. I asked him, I want to sit down face to face with him. He ignored me. I went to some of the council members. They received me, and they sent a letter on my behalf. But all this season did not work.
This altercation that you had with your co-worker, you're doing good.
Okay, pick it up from there.
Okay. This situation, the altercation with the co-worker, occurred in '94, and the termination or the case went to arbitration somewhere in '95. Is that what happened?
Yes.
It took so many months, over a year, for that case to be open.
Right.
Why didn't they do anything right away when the situation occurred?
I guess I have to ask you the same question. Why they had to wait until 1.5 or 1 year, 6 months to bring the case up? That tells you somebody is good somewhere. It's nothing but the personal. If indeed that thing was so serious, the previous administration, the previous supervisor would brought me on charges.
So the person who eventually terminated your employment was not the person who was there when the situation occurred?
Not at all. He was not there.
Okay. What did the person who was there say about it when it occurred?
Because the person who was there when the thing occurred, when they went to a meeting, when he came, he said, if I was here, this thing would never happen. But whatever happened, let it be. And everybody, just they did not write any report on it.
Okay. They did not write any report. Did you yourself keep documentation of anything that occurred at all? Because my thing, the question that I'm trying to ask is that we all know, anybody who has dealt with a city system or government agency knows that they take their time to do anything. And as long as the statute of limitation has not run out, they can always go back. What is the statute of limitation in cases like that?
Okay, yeah, let me tell you. The statute of limitation go back whenever the man in charge, the superintendent of the project or the manager of the project feel I have to do this. If that Sean Johnson did not send the report to 250 Broadway, they wouldn't even know what happened in 94. So this tells
when you and your co-worker had the altercation, I should say, were the police brought in there?
Yes.
Was there charges filed against you or the person?
The person called the police. We went through according to the system, and everything was dead right there.
What did the police say? How did it end?
Then when the police came, I was trying to press a charge against him also. The police refused, because when the police came, let me tell you what happened. They called the police in a separate room. I'm sorry to mention this. Speak Spanish to him, talk to him for a while before the police came. So most of the co-workers were saying, why he cannot also complain against him. The police
did you call the police department?
Yes, I did.
Again,
I did.
Report the situation.
I did report it to a civilian complaint board. What has happened to me that time? The whole thing is they say, "Oh, we are sorry," blah blah blah. The report, I have it in a document in my file.
Okay.
Nothing was done technically to make it this case. Everybody thought that's it.
Have you, until this particular incident happened, because sometimes they use cumulative situation to get rid of someone, have you had any problems with anybody at all on the job until this situation occurred? Do you know?
I know for a fact that sometimes, by being, I'm telling you again, being an African, most of these co-workers, some blacks and Spanish, they teasing, and when they teasing, we get into a little, misunderstanding. We don't take it personal, but then the superintendent will make a report on it and put it in my file, whereby I did not even know until this case happened.
So there were little things there in your file that suggested that this situation has occurred before.
Yeah, but if the city, they call something like a cancel of memo, they don't take it anything. Cancel of memo means like a warning. Cancel of memo, according to the union, it doesn't exist anywhere. But they're using a cancel of memo against me. We have memo and we have cancel of memo. So you're talking about two things. The whole thing is, I'm telling you, it was nothing but the personal. Because, okay, you can be doing something wrong for 1.5 years. Ask me, did they ever have any incident with any employee or with the same person?
What was the what is the length of the statute of limitation?
18 months.
18 months. And it took them 1.5 years to come to your case, which is like 2 months before
that's it.
They couldn't do anything, and all of a sudden they decided to take you to arbitration.
All these things because of Sean Johnson, the superintendent of the project, hate me. As a matter of fact,
what did the union do about it?
The union did not do anything. Every incident I reported to the union because I was the union shop steward. Have you
ever been suspended?
Never.
Have you ever been cited for anything? On the
never.
Never. And yet the union couldn't do anything?
I'm telling you. You see how...
What did the union provide you at all?
The union provide me only legal. I mean, a lawyer to handle this case, and they are the union lawyers. And that's it. no unemployment, nothing whatsoever in my
You didn't
city.
receive unemployment?
No. You see, you won't feel it until the system get caught up on you.
What is the excuse for not receiving unemployment?
Because I was fired on the job. You
Because
don't
you
know.
were fired on the job.
Yes.
If you are fired on the job, you don't receive unemployment?
I tell you, you see, most of the things the people will not know until it happened to you. I know some people say, oh, it's all right.
Do they have code? I mean, they have something in writing saying
Yes.
that fighting on the job was something that shouldn't be done, and that if you do it, it's one of the things that will prevent you from collecting unemployment?
No, no such a thing. But this is what I was told at the unemployment hearing. I filed for unemployment, they denied me. I went for unemployment hearing, they denied me. As a matter of fact, the city sent somebody to represent them, saying because of the incident, I had a fight on the job, so therefore you are not eligible. After 17 or 18 years working on my feet, never collect unemployment, but this is what I got.
Did you take the situation to the State Human Rights Commission?
Oh, I did everything.
What was the outcome of the State Human Rights
The
Commission?
outcome of the State Human Rights Commission from the 40 Rita Street. Even I went to the office in World Trade Center. You know what they're telling me? I was told we have so much cases from 3 years, so it's going to take a time. But if my case, if the State Human Rights Commission acted right on it, my case will not be like this, because they will have something against this Sean Johnson. Say, hey, look, if it would be like give and take, because if
So
he
with
can,
your allegation about that person that you had this altercation with, that he did he call you any names at all? In terms of, you said he discriminated against you because
before
you were
the
African.
incident,
Did he say
yes.
anything to you?
he sometimes he used to call me Chakazuru, all kind of. Now I always take it.
Was there any disciplinary action taken against him?
No, because he make a deal with the superintendent Sean Johnson. There was no anything against him.
Did they even cite him at all for? Did he deny ever saying those things?
I tell you, even then when we went in here, and I have a co-worker who went and testified on my behalf. Still, they don't believe.
They didn't believe that person.
They already make it their mind. That's what I'm telling you. If they can wait from 94 into 96, come on. What make a trigger for this Sean Johnson brought me on charges? Common sense. He never write me up since he been in the project from February 95.
What did you do for the city?
I was working there as a maintenance man in the housing authority at the tough houses.
What does it mean?
Yeah, we do repairs, plumbing, electrical, and major maintenance on the project buildings.
Did you have any complaints from the tenants, the
No.
people that you were serving?
No, as a matter of fact, even when I spoke to the rabbi told me the city is saying the people don't like me. And I asked the rabbi, I said, when did they make that such statement
To you?
to me, say they don't like me, and what did my department did, and what was my punishment?
For them not
They
liking
like
you.
me.
And what
Right.
was the rabbi that you're talking about? Is the rabbi who was shown in the newspaper as one of the people who persuaded you to come down from the
That's
city?
correct. That's him.
What the people, meaning the people in the houses, don't like you?
Right.
On what grounds? That you don't do your job, or that just as a personal thing you just don't mesh with them?
Yeah,
Because
I
they
have
are not
no
liking you?
idea. I have no idea, but I can prove a whole bunch of signatures from all the tenants and the senior citizen. The senior citizen, some of them, their birthday, I will send them back. They all love me. Some of them cry when they saw this article on the newspaper. They cry with the tears because they know they call me the lovable boy. Everybody want to talk to me. When they have a problem, some of them don't want anybody but me because I know how to deal with the senior citizens and most of the tenants.
And you really didn't even hear about the people don't like you through the arbitration until this incident occurred and the rabbi went there and heard all these things about it.
And what was on my file about the people don't
like
and
you.
what did the superintendent of the project did call me and say, look, I'm giving you a memo. Where is the documentation? Nothing. So my point is, the whole incident is nothing but the personal.
Right.
When someone doesn't like you, they will do everything. Let me tell you something. On April 13th of 95, this man told me in front of the whole staff, you have to get the permission from me before you use a bathroom. Come on.
Which man?
Sean Johnson.
Why?
We were having a meeting, and after his speech, I have to go to the bathroom and take a leak. Well, by that time, he was giving everybody check to them. So when he called my name, one of the employees, Atta went to the bathroom. When I came back, he got pissed off. He told me in front of the whole staff, hey, look, Atta, let me tell you, next time you're going to use the bathroom, you got to ask the permission. I did not say anything. I gave him the respect. I called him on the side, together with my another media supervisor, Barry Robinson. He told me, I don't want to hear it. That's his system. If anything you want, I don't want to hear it. So I leave it like that.
I have come to realize something about most people. When they find a very strong-willed person, a person who is aware of his rights or her rights, and can stand up to them and say, you know, what you telling me is wrong or what you doing is wrong, they tend to not like that person very much, because you are like a thorn in their side that they want to get rid of. Did you sort of like, was the person that pick up on every little thing and made your point clear, and maybe that's why they had it in for you, or you just went and did your job? And
I think, yeah, to be honest with you, it could be a part of it, because if I sit down and think about the whole circumstances, and plus being a union shop steward, most bosses don't like a person like that. Being a dynamic, somebody you can carry the torch, you can lead the people, they don't like you. And this is where I realized this man, even beside whether I was a union shop steward or not, you can go to the wrong place at the wrong time, and this is what happened. He did not like me per person. And so therefore, and when he tried so many angles, I will not fall into his track. Therefore, he has to go back and dig for fish. That's how I believe.
Well, you know, in our community, meaning the Ghanaian community, or even to some extent the African community, and the reason why I'm saying to the extent is not because I'm not saying the other Africans don't have the same culture, but I can speak for every African country. Right. Ghana is where I grew up, and that's what I know. Somebody going to this length in terms of trying to jump to your death, committing suicide, is a little bit unusual. Right. So, you know, we all had our take on it of what we thought the situation was. Some people would say, why don't you just move on and find another job? Some people would say, you know, this person has emotional problem. You know, people will have their own discussion as to what they thought was wrong with you. How has the community treated you? Because I know that you were a very active member in the community.
Yeah, I tell you what, they took a lot of impact with some of the members who are community people who cares and love me. For some reason, nobody ever thought I would be in that type of situation. Number two, when something happened like this, everybody come up with their different ideas and different per se rumor and all this. It's not the job I lost. I will not. Everybody is working, don't have any ideas. I'm going to do this job for the rest of my life. But the point is, the circumstances it happened for me to lose my job. That's a really hurt. It's not the job per se, but the nature of the case. It will make you think really, really, what I feel up to today, that person make me, he put a gun into my head and kill me inside.
You felt as if
yes,
he killed you
inside. Right,
okay.
because my wife and my family, my daughter, is in college. Where am I going to get the money to pay her college? First year in college. My wife lost a baby because she was stressed because my insurance was carrying her and she had a miscarriage for 5 months. How many people can go through all this just because somebody doesn't like you? And back to Ghanaian community, when they got the news, my house was poor with a lot of loved ones. Telephone was ringing like a crazy. Everybody want to know what happened. This is not our time, we know.
I even read that, you know, and I don't mean to cut you, but you have another job, a part-time job at the Ambassador Way. Is it Ambassador Way?
It is Ambassador Way.
Okay, travel agency. But I read in the newspaper that people were calling there very angry with the owner that why did they fire you, and the person was saying that you know, I'm not the one who did this and stuff like that. So it seems like a lot of people like you. So far, have you got a chance to talk to people to explain it to them what happened?
Oh, of course I did. Back to that point about Ambassador Way. Ambassador Way, Eddie Agbo is somebody like my brother, my family member with everything. I go there just to help him. He did not employ me.
Okay.
I just go there as a family member, as a friend, he is like part of
your
me.
Family.
Right.
Okay.
I go to his house. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was even there doing everything I want to do in his house. Okay. So people thought being associated with him, and also make a publication about his traveling agent, people thought I worked there. Those who don't know where I work, 8 hours job, think that's where I work, because I mostly, when I get off from job, I stop there before I come home. Okay. So I answer telephone for him, having reservation for him, and do like somebody come and pick up his ticket or her ticket. So a lot of Ghanaians who doesn't know the inside story feel I work for him. So there was so much pressure on Eddie also say, Eddie, why did you fire him? Why did you do this? And as a matter of fact, even he also fell and got sick for
hearing
all this I mean, telephone calls.
But that should shoot something in your heart, because it should tell you that all these people really are concerned for you, and they will go through, you know, calling other people and telling them that, you know, they have done the wrong thing to you. When in fact, I mean, of course, they call the wrong person, but this shows that people like you. Sometimes
it's hard for you to explain things to people whereby they just, like, they pick it up, then they just carry the news. Right. Eddie, those who call Eddie had the time and the patience. He is somebody who have a time and patience to explain things. He did explain to those who give a call to him, and those who knew say no. It is not the one, but the city is the one who caused all this problem.
Okay. In terms of putting the thing out there, that's what you said right now. You went on to the bridge because you are not crazy.
Of course not.
You were upset at that very moment.
I was really upset.
Thing, and you will not put your family in that situation.
Into that jeopardy. You can even double check with the hospital.
Okay.
When all the team of doctors sit down.
What did the doctor say?
Well, they sit down with me and I talk to them as the same thing I'm sitting down talking to you. And they feel it was a stress and a pressure. It's not that I'm crazy or anything. But those who knew this case knew it was just a pressure, because the same day, that's when I got the final decision from Civil Service Commission. And I really feel, even the Civil Service Commission, Mr. Vasquez, when I called him and told him all these things, he said, why the lawyer did not brought all these things up? You understand? And I did tell everything to the lawyer.
How did you try documenting things? Because one thing that I've seen, that lawyers will do their jobs, but if you are dealing with a lawyer, you have to be proactive. You have to keep your notes. You have to tell them what you think should be incorporated where. Did you keep notes of some of the incidents that happened?
Yes,
did you bring it to his attention?
I did. Even before we go into the Civil Service Commission hearing, I went there with my wife. Even I thought the lawyer will call me a day applies to before the the hearing. There was no call. I volunteered to call to say there's any discussions. He said no. I get every single document. I sent a copy. I faxed it to him. All this I was using 80 fax machine, telephone. He can tell you his telephone bill was high during the time I was. He won't stop me. He let me use his office telephone to do all the transaction. I contact all the city officials and everywhere. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
Pick it up.
How many minutes?
Oh, we went past that.
We are past that? Okay, then we... I don't want to edit too much out of it. I'm sorry. I think I'm getting a cold or something, you know. But we pass...
well, you know, it's up to you, because you can always edit it.
Yeah, but I don't want to edit too much out of it, because he made some points that he would it to be out there. Excuse me.
You got water?
Yeah, I think, let me...
Gladys! Gladys!
I'll tell you. Okay.
Okay. Well, it seems that the community has been very supportive, and it's good that you have a family. And I also, you also mentioned that the rabbi, you are in touch with the rabbi, meaning that he's doing something to you. Do it again. I'm sorry. Cut it.
No, keep on.
Keep on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me start again. Start with the question again. You want to do some water first?
Okay.
Hold on.
Let me just, it will be okay.
You can put it in here.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Now that put on the floor, that wasn't there.
Which one?
No,
the glass? Okay.
Drink some and then put it back on
Okay.
on the...
It feels good. Today, if you guys didn't call me, I would have slept through, because I woke up like 8 o'clock, went to the gym, came back, and... Okay. All right. We ready? Okay. You mentioned the rabbi. It seems like you are in touch with him. And can you tell us a little bit about who this person is? What is he doing for you right now?
Well, Rabbi Israel has been very supportive to my case, as per se. As a matter of fact, I spoke to him Wednesday when he told me about how he'd been trying to get my job back for me and things like that. Then he came up a story, say, the city mentioned the people doesn't like me. So he asked me to write a letter get a letter from the people where I was working to show them, so he can provide it to the people he dealing with. And as a matter of fact, I had it here. They sent a letter to the senior citizens and the tenants, and they signed. People were anxious to sign all this thing on my behalf. So I faxed it to him. The rabbi has his phone number, fax number, beeper number. So he been doing tremendous job. I give him a credit for that. So the rabbi, I don't think there's any question about it. I believe what he promised, he will fulfill it. Right.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that. And do you have any final thoughts that you would like to put out there for the people to hear? Like you said, you're a very active member in the community. I know you host a number of things and you go to a number of occasions, and there have been times that have been very difficult for me to get in touch with you. What would you like these people who care so much about you and care about your situation have shown that by calling you and coming here? What would you like to say to them?
To enclose my discussions with you, I would like to emphasize my sympathy. I would like to emphasize my story to the whole entire Ghanaian community and let them know it's not that I'm crazy, but whenever something like this happens to you, that's when you will feel the heat. You won't know until it happened to you whether you are white or black or whatever the your nationality. A lot of people cannot take this stress. People will kill themselves, but I don't like this thing to happen to anybody. But if it does happen to some friend or a co-worker or anybody, don't be happy like, oh, this man get this, because you never know. But the city have so much so much crotchets. When they get you, then you will know. So my word to the whole entire community is, whenever this thing happens to any one of us, we all have to come together and support it.
Well, I would like to thank you for allowing us into your house to do this interview. I hope that what you have said will reach the right people.
Right.
And also, I hope the outcome eventually will be good for you and your family. I understand this is a stressful period for you. Right. It was something that you didn't expect, and it happened. And talking to you, I can tell the people that you are not crazy.
Of course
not. You're not crazy at all. And there are a lot of people who lose their job through some of the issues that you have lost your job, and they don't say anything about it, and they just move on, and it's not right. And it's good that you shed some light on it. Hopefully it won't happen to somebody else the next time.
For example, the police officer who killed the bias, what they going to do to him? I bet you if it was a black police officer kill a white person, that person will be found guilty. So the point is clear. When you are minority, your case is handled different.
Right.
It's very clear cut in this city. You see, look at O.J. Simpson case. The couple have a black and white America. Look at the black police officers in Florida, how they were treated. So it's a matter of we have to stand up for our rights, and we have to pray to God things will be changed. Otherwise, we will have a very hard time, as we just mentioned in the beginning of your interview. And thank you.
All right, then thanks again. Thank you very much for watching the show. Again, my name is Yaa Okoampa-Ahoofe. We have to all know that there are a lot of situations that affects us. We, meaning the transplanted Americans, that's what I call us, those of us who came from some place to this country. There are a lot of ignorance. There are a lot of problems that we're going to face. It all depends on how we handle the situation. Hopefully we learn something from Mr. Atta Boama's situation. Again, thank you very much for watching the show. See you next time for another edition of Talk New York. Same channel, same time. And I would like to say good night and bye-bye to my little niece, Nanaya, who asked me to do that. Thank you very much and good night. Okay. In closing, as human beings, we have a responsibility. But as Africans, we have even a bigger responsibility. Ultimately, the legacy we leave behind will not be measured by our mere existence, by our contribution to society in bringing world peace. Thank you very much for watching. This is Yaa Okoampa-Ahoofe. I welcome your comments, questions, and participation. Please write, email, or telephone to the number on the screen. Videotapes are also available. Thank you for watching. See you next time, same station, same time for another edition of Talk New York. Good night.